Oh wow, it's really raining. I'm fucking wet.
Hey, can you see me? Can you see me? Can you see me?
Oh, I
Hey,
forgot to
hey, can you
reply.
see me? She can't see me. She can't see me.
Oh my fucking god, what the fuck was that? Mieruko-chan, the manga featuring ghosts and anime ghosts. It doesn't really have a plot, it's mostly just slice of life, but ghosts. And yeah, I know it has an anime, but I haven't seen it, so shut up. The story is really just starting, the manga only has about 45 chapters and they come out like once a month. But it's still entertaining to see Miko absolutely shitting herself while her friend does something stupid in the background. Every day she has to deal with something else. And by deal with, I mean be scared and ignore it. One time, a ghost jumps on Hana, Miko's friend, and starts groping her. She gets saved by the school's hot nurse passing by though. And another time, a ghost sits next to her in a bus, which stresses her out so much she begins to cry. Hana and her aura being basically magnets for ghosts brings a lot of stress and action to Miko's life, which is pretty hard to deal with for a young girl like her. She has tried many things to keep them away from her, things like rosaries and salt placed near the door, but none of those worked, so she decided to stick to what did, putting on a poker face and not telling anyone. She's scared to admit that they exist, because by acknowledging them, she might anger them. And I can't really imagine having to live like this, constantly on the edge and so close to being pushed over it, with no one to help you. Oh wait, I'm Polish. One of my favorite chapters is a Halloween special, where Miko and her friends go to a haunted house attraction. At this point, Miko is so used to being terrified that nothing in there moves her. However, when she realizes that it's the perfect place to let her emotions loose and allow herself to be scared, she seems the happiest that she's ever been. Finally being able to be normal, she smiles throughout the entire chapter and laughs while saying how scared she is. And in the end, while being chased by a horde of people in costumes, she noticed a real ghost, but she was able to shout to it to get away from her, which allowed her to overcome her fear of ghosts, even if for just that short while. My other favorite would probably be the one in which they find a cat on the street and decide to give it away, so they send out a message. The first person to show up was a handsome man with a friendly appearance. Hana almost instantly gave him the cat, but Miko stopped her as he was surrounded by masses of ghosts of cats, saying that they shouldn't trust him. The second person to show up was a bruised man with the appearance of a tough gangster. However, surrounding him were two figures of cats that were more spirits than ghosts. They looked happy, so Miko gave the cat to him. In the end of the chapter, we get to see the man feeding his newly obtained cat, which he named Meowl, surrounded by the spirits of cats and presumably his dead wife. A really sweet chapter, telling the message to not judge a book by its cover. If I were to seek any symbolism here, I would say that it shows how a person struggling with anxiety goes on about their life and how difficult it is. But really, who gives a shit about symbolism when there are ghosts to look at? And like, all of them look so fucking amazing. The designs of all the characters and demons and shit are so pleasant to look at. It's genuinely incredible how good the art is here. And the addition of comedy really helps with putting the entire thing together. While I didn't bust out laughing, it did get a few smiles and even a chuckle out of me. With Miko being scared as shit, Hana being goofy, and Yulia being paranoid, they form a really hilarious trio, creating very comedic situations basically anywhere they go when the story isn't being too serious. Overall, I really enjoyed everything I read, and I would definitely recommend it to everyone, and you should go read it. The video is now done, this is just a thanks to everyone who has watched up until this point. I started doing this randomly with no real expectations, but I felt really happy when I looked at my first video getting 200 views. And while I do realize that it's not a lot in the grander scheme of YouTube things, I imagined having to give a speech in front of 200 people and then suddenly it didn't feel so little. I definitely want to do more of this, but since it's a bit time consuming, I would like to post shorter stuff, kinda like the opening segment of this video, maybe as shorts, because I aspire to be a voice actor for quite some time now actually. That is all, thank you, have a day.